welcome back to Leafs Fans in Hostile Lands. I'm your host, Mr. Kyle, Dr. Nurse, and I've got Dan and Craig with me. Wow. We haven't been around in a while. We've been enjoying our holidays. We hope you have been too. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy New Year if you're listening to this in the new year of 2022. And oh my God, a lot of stuff has happened. I'd say not in the week off, but more in the last 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's gotten crazy.
We're going to start off this podcast with probably not fun or exciting topics, but we're going to dig in, maybe get a little more kind of discussion-y with the things that have been going on in hockey. And then we're going to finish off with a year in review. Next week will be our 1-year anniversary of Leafs Fans in Hostile Lands, which is pretty exciting. We got, 38 episodes in over a course of a year, taking a couple months off in the summer. It's been a wild ride. We've increased our followership and so on, and we're happy to have you guys with us. Let's get into some hockey in general. Not a lot of Leafs news this past couple weeks because they haven't really played. So
I guess since the last time we were here, it was everybody has gotten COVID and everyone has come off of protocol.
basically,
To give everyone the full rundown.
the
Okay,
full
there's
rundown.
one. We did win a game, guys. We won against Edmonton.
Oh,
That's a big win.
that was a big win, right?
Yeah.
Right? I can't remember.
That was it.
Yeah,
I
it's
remember. Well, I
5-1?
remember from notes. Campbell
Wasn't
was
it?
amazing.
5 something.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
good.
something
Oh
like
God,
that.
it feels like a year ago.
It really
it felt
does.
good going into a Calgary Vancouver, streak that should have been. But obviously, we all know what has happened since then.
Oh, and they were going to play the Kraken a couple days later. Oh, I was, so
I was excited
for
about that one. I guess it'll still happen, but
It'll still happen, but just not right, Like, I could have waited to get the older Nintendo Switch, but I wanted it sooner, so I bought the newer one as soon as I could. I did not think about money in that sense. But, okay, sorry, back to hockey. Hockey's been shut down, basically, from December 22nd to the 27th. 28th was the first glimpse of hockey since then. Since December 18th, which is when things really started to ramp up with Omicron in the NHL, 55 games have been postponed, and there have been more, upcoming because of COVID protocols, because of the border being closed, because the Canadian restrictions are making it harder to get revenue in the NHL. So the NHL has said, you know what? If there are restrictions, above 50%, then you're not playing the game. We're going to postpone it until some of these restrictions go away or things get better with COVID. So
now
that's,
question
that's
about that
pretty
though.
interesting.
Toronto is going to be playing Ottawa on January 1st. So do they just not care about the revenue that Ottawa is going to bring in?
That's funny.
That's a really good point, Craig.
Like they're canceling the Montreal Toronto game because of revenue, but they're not canceling the Ottawa Toronto game.
Maybe
I
they
don't know.
think things will change by then?
And then change back.
Everyone
It
seems
doesn't
to be
seem to-
citing, the second week in January for when any new rules would kind of roll out for the NHL. Because we're not going to see anything come government-wise likely until then anyway, in terms of getting more capacity. So I don't think anything's happening before that second week or something.
2 weeks to flatten the curve. Come on, guys. We can do
That's
it.
right. Let's do it. That worked.
That's... Woo! We were so naive back then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As I count it, I think maybe some have gone on, some have come off. 8 Leafs on COVID protocol, maybe 9 now. I think Logren just went on in the past couple minutes. Emergency recalls are now allowed in the NHL for players making under $1 million. So that's kind of good news for some teams that have been hit really hard. And taxi squads have been reinstated, optional though. Only until February though, with a maximum of 6 players for 20 days or less. What are you guys' thoughts on the emergency recalls and the taxi squad stuff being implemented in? Start off, Daniel.
I mean, to be fair, I was sad to lose hockey, but I wasn't sad that they were pausing the games. So I'm much more on the cautious side in that sense. However, as a avid hockey fan who loves the Leafs and wants to watch hockey, I'm glad they're bringing everything back, even if it's a little bit different than last year's kind of emergency rules. I think they're going to try and do it slowly again this year. Bringing back the taxi squads will at least get us playing again, get players that are on the protocol list to have time to get off and then get back in shape, maybe even if they let them have that time. But I am glad to see hockey come back. So as long as everybody's staying safe and healthy, I'm excited for it.
Now, there's one thing that they did change this year. It's not exactly the same as the taxi squad in the past. A player that's going on the taxi squad can't have played, I believe, 25% of the games so far this season. So they're trying to keep the cap implications.
Right.
Last year, the Leafs, every day they were sending guys back and forth to the taxi squad who's still practicing with them, but they're saving cap here and there. They can't do that anymore. Basically, they've anti-leafed the taxi squad for the season. And with the emergency
I like how you put
call-ups,
that.
well, I guess Tampa too, and the other thing is they've upped it from $850,000 emergency call-ups to $1 million. Just kind of gives those entry level contracts are $925,000. So to be able to bring these young guys in and be able to play some games, like before, it just didn't really work with the rules. So it's really nice that they've brought back these rules that they know worked. They worked last year, and just kind of modernizing them for this season because it was going to be really hard to work within the old framework. So I think they've actually done something pretty smart by bringing in these two new rules, and it's really going to help getting the games forward and try to get that season actually finished.
Another thing that's been implemented is the isolation. If you do test positive for COVID, or at least you have to go into COVID protocols, has been reduced to 5 days from 10 days. Dan, good thing, bad thing?
I mean, I think it's kind of going the same way that everyone else is going. You know, even though cases are going up at the moment, restrictions seem to be loosening in some places anyway. So
No.
I think it's kind of the way we're headed.
Sorry, really quick thing. I believe that is only for asymptomatic players.
Okay.
So if you're asymptomatic, you only have a 5 day. I believe. I don't 100% quote me on that, but I believe I read that today, which makes it just feel a little bit better. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. So I didn't know that. That's at least a little bit better. But, you know, it gets people playing again. So it makes sense that they're going to do it.
And I did mention games in at least Canada are being postponed due to revenue loss. Craig, do you think this is a good idea by the NHL or by the teams? Or is this going to skew one way or another? Or is this just like, come on, like, let's see the hockey. You guys did it last year without fans. What the heck?
Do fans like this? No, I don't think so. Do hockey players like this? No, I don't think so. Do the owners like this? Yeah, probably. They're looking at their bank accounts. They're going, well, I can get an extra $1.2 million if we can just reschedule. I own this building. I can just fit myself in any time. So why not? I'm not a huge fan of canceling games because of revenue, but with the biggest markets in the league, like Montreal-Boston games, you know that's going to sell a lot of tickets, going to sell a lot of beer. And if you can't sell food, especially in Ontario, you can't have any sort of food or drink when you're at the game. So you're not only losing ticket sales, you're losing all of that concession money, which is where you make all your money.
I wonder if, I guess, sponsors or food providers or stuff were also behind that. It's like, hey, if I can't even make money, like, why is my sign there? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, true.
I wouldn't be surprised if the owners of the food places didn't want it because they don't have to pay their staff. So,
Right.
you know, it saves everybody a little bit if you're not able to eat and drink.
Okay, so a little bit of compromise going on because if they can't make money, then they shouldn't put the product up. Maybe, I don't know. I guess it's tough for, you know, the layman or the regular Canadian person. You know, they don't get to see their hockey or go to their hockey games, and that just sucks. It's just a reality we maybe have to deal with.
Now, postponing a game because you don't have enough NHL players, I can understand that because it comes down to the quality of what you're actually seeing on the ice. You're not paying NHL prices to go see AHL teams. But just to do it for the owner to make a little bit more money on the game, I don't know. It doesn't sit very well with me.
I thought
Do you
they
see
would at
this
least
happening though? Like, I feel like a lot of teams are potentially playing right now, like with like maybe not double-digit players on COVID protocol, but quite a few like big names. Or am I off on that?
No, there's players every day that are going into protocol. As like every team I think probably has at least one or two players that are currently in COVID protocol, but some teams like Toronto and Calgary were definitely hit the worst over this Christmas break. They had to have their games postponed because they just did not have enough players to put out there. But I think at certain point, if a team has too many players between their team and their farm team that are getting cases, they're just going to have to postpone more too.
Okay. Anything else for the NHL?
Please come back. Give me hockey.
Please.
Yep. Let us watch our beloved Leafs.
I even liked it when there was nobody in the fans.
Oh, yeah.
The nice things behind it, It's a tarp.
Was that last episode of the episode
that was a while
before? Okay, moving on to international hockey. The Olympics aren't happening anymore for NHL players, which is very, very sad. I hate to cross my fingers for, I guess, a bad thing, but there's potential that the Olympics could just be canceled this year and postponed to next year, and maybe those talks reappear for the NHL players to go back. But as of right now, because of COVID, the NHL players are not going. There have been a couple players that are saying, hey, we should have been consulted. There are a couple players saying, hey, this is bullshit. COVID isn't as dangerous as it used to be. And there's a couple players like Connor McDavid saying there should still be a best-on-best tournament, and maybe we bring back the World Cup of hockey. Dan, thoughts on the Olympics and NHL players not going?
It's weird. I'm such a kind of protectionist around COVID in every other sense, but I'm a little bit surprised that they're not allowing them to go to the Olympics when every other athlete is allowed to go. It seems a bit of a surprise move, and I'm not by any means siding with a certain player from the Bruins, but I think it was kind of sneaky the way that the NHL did it, changing the CBA to allow them to stop that. And
I think the NHLPA was consulted on this. I feel like maybe the players themselves weren't quite as
I think you're
involved.
Right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. NHLPA was definitely consulted. The unions were definitely consulted. It just, the players want to go. There's locker room talk of them wanting to go. Even McDavid said that in his interview. I think, there's vaccinations now. You can get a booster shot. You can isolate you. There's a ton of things we have to keep safe from COVID. So I think it's kind of a bummer that they're not letting them go. I kind of side with the players on it. I would have liked to see them go.
I don't like to agree with Brad Marchand either.
It's a bummer, eh?
I think he might have had the right take on it. They've got these taxi squads and they've got these call-ups to be able to replace players that are on COVID. Why can't they replace the guys that are from the Olympics if they're on COVID? You can still play the games. The argument was that we can't play the games without these players. But they're taking their own, it's their own call. And at the end of the day, you've got taxi squads and you've got emergency call-ups. You did that so that you can play games, and your worry was not being able to make up games. So I just don't understand the logic. And I think you were saying that the NHL kind of did it in a sneaky way, and I agree. They canceled the Olympics first, then they brought in the taxi squads. If they did the other way around, they would have went, hey, whoa, no, that doesn't make sense.
But isn't this because, there's fear of COVID when they go to China? And because it's, we're obviously in a 15th wave right now. And the restrictions it's not so much restrictions, but reactions. If a player does get COVID, were pretty intense. 3 to 5 weeks isolating in China. Not even you're sent home to isolate at home.
And that's their call. If they want to put themselves in that chance, then people travel to China all the time. So why should they be any different than any business person who sent, their office sends them to go do business in Beijing and they get COVID there? It's just a working relationship.
Yeah, but a business person, depending on the business, can continue to do their job from a computer or at home.
Connor McDavid can do his job from a hotel room. Who are we kidding? He's still better than 25% of the league from a hotel room.
Okay, guys, we've extended the rink to up there where Connor McDavid can shoot, but you have to pass him the puck as well.
Remember that last All-Star game when they had the game where they were shooting the puck from the rafters trying to hit the targets? That's
Yeah.
basically what McDavid's going to be doing from China.
Basically what we're doing. What the hell? I don't know. Like, I think they're not letting them go, or the players aren't going because of COVID fears, not because of games being made up. Now, there have been a lot of postponed games, and the Olympic break, messes that up quite a bit. But I think it's just global pandemic stuff, not postponements. Am I off on this? I don't know.
No, I think you're right, Kyle.
Well, based on all the players that are saying that they want to go, a lot of players keep saying this, that they want to go to the Olympics. So based on that, Gary Bettman kept saying over and over again, if you listen to what he said in his press conferences, the call is up to the players whether or not they want to go. Unless we need to postpone games and reschedule them.
Okay.
But they don't need to postpone or reschedule them. They basically said, oh, we need to. But then they brought in the taxi squad so that they don't have to. He kept saying, it's up to the players to decide whether or not they're going to the Olympics, unless we need to reschedule games.
I also think it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, though, because at the same time as cases were going up, players on teams started dropping. Like, I know Toronto had, it was staggering. It started with JT, and it just went like crazy, like wildfire through the team.
Yeah.
So I think they were kind of thinking, revenue is definitely a thing. Player safety is definitely a thing. The Olympics are maybe going to get canceled anyway, so who the hell cares? But it did seem pretty knee-jerk to me.
The owners didn't
and for the
want to
NHL, like, what the hell?
The NHL is knee-jerk. That's all they do. They don't do anything proactively. Everything is just retroactively at the time go, oh, we've seen this being a problem, but we're going to deal with it right now. But I don't think owners ever wanted to go, and they found themselves an excuse to be able to keep them from going.
McDavid did mention that he would like a best-on-best tournament. So that brings into question, should we have the World Cup of Hockey come back? What was it, 2012 or something? I can't remember the year.
Is that Olympics?
I thought it was super cool.
Is that Olympics vanilla?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
That one. With Team Europe, which, I don't know. I really
team
thought
most
that was
of Europe?
cool. Sure. Team most of Europe, because this is where the best hockey players come from.
Hey, Kopitar got to be on a competitive international team.
Yeah, like I was into it, as opposed to, like, yesterday, the World Junior Canadian team destroying Austria, 12-2 or 14-2 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to see that in a best on best, I guess. Like, I guess it's a cool story, but it's not exactly fun to watch.
Yeah,
So,
like, name
quick
an
question.
Quick trivia. Name an Austrian NHL player.
No.
Ooh. Arnold?
I got nothing either. I've got nothing. No wonder it was 11-1.
Yeah, fair point.
Quick question. Yes to World Cup of Hockey or no, Craig?
I'd watch it again. Like, it wasn't the best thing I've ever seen in my life, but it was definitely entertaining. And to see Connor McDavid actually play for Team Canada would be great.
Dan?
I think they should do a Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere best on
Southern
best,
Hemisphere.
where they take Canada because of our restrictions. So all the best players from Canada, all the best players from the States, and then filter in European players throughout both teams. And that would be the two teams competing against each other.
Wait,
so that's the way I would love to see it.
Say it again.
What hemispheres are you talking about?
Well, no, okay. So imagine that the Canadian-U.S. border was on the southern. No. Imagine the Canadian-U.S. border is splitting the world in a hemisphere.
Oh, okay.
So the U.S. is one team, Canada's the other team, and then you have the European players spattered out throughout, depending on where their country falls on the map.
Okay. I think I get it.
Well, I'm thinking Canada's COVID rules are different, so you're not going to have players wanting to go back and forth. So, keep the Canadians up here and
I see.
Americans down there.
Okay,
and then
so
Europeans can do what they
3
want.
individual tournaments is what you're saying.
No, I was thinking one tournament with 2 teams playing 3 games, and just kind of do like a rivalry series, a mini rivalry series kind of thing.
I see. Okay, I think I get it now. Okay, what if it's not that, and kind of a normal tournament. Are you for it or are you against it?
I'd be for it. I mean, I still want to see
Okay.
everybody play. I still want to see, the extras that come along with these. But yeah, I'd love to see it, of course.
Okay. Second question for this. Yes or no to a Team Europe or a Team North America again? Craig.
See, the problem with Team North America, the problem I had last time was with the league these days, so many of the best players are the youngest guys that it just doesn't seem fun not seeing them playing for your team. But then again, they also don't know how to play defense at all. So it's kind of fun to watch. Then Team Europe, I understand why. Like, you're not going to get. I didn't consider this at the time, but the problem was all these European leagues that have the guys for the Olympics, they wouldn't release the guys to go to the World Cup because it's the World Cup. They're not making anything off of it or anything. Most of these guys don't care about an NHL tournament. So by able to get enough guys from all the other European countries, it makes sense. And I guess the guys really bonded. They had a great time. So I'd love to see it again.
Dan, Europe and North America?
Yep. I'll agree with Craig. I still want to see something fun.
Sweet. Yeah, I liked him. I don't know why they get so much flack. I dig it. Let us know in the comments below, or give us a call. 555-2481. Okay, other international hockey. The World Junior Hockey Championship was recently canceled. Darn. But I've heard maybe postponed to the summer now, maybe, or they're thinking about it. But let me tell you what they're not thinking about: postponing the women's under-18 tournament. That is totally canceled, at least for right now. There's a lot of backlash on it, at least on Twitter. Second year in a row it happened. And
now that is the one that someone else
not
has now stepped up and said we'll be more than happy to host that, right? Is that the one?
Okay, who's
Oh,
this?
I didn't hear
Oh,
that.
I didn't hear about that. Okay, keep talking and let me find it.
Dan, thoughts on the women's U18 tournament being canceled as opposed to postponed?
I think it's ridiculous. I think if you're going to let the guys play, you have to let the women play. I think it's about money, completely about money behind everything.
There's no
and
money
who
in it,
racks up.
unfortunately, so I don't know if it's about money. Because
For the men? No, but there's like TV
for the
deals
men,
and
of
stuff.
course, it's
sponsors.
It's got to be huge money for it.
for the men's stuff, I feel for
And-
the women's stuff, like they don't expose it anyways. So I don't know.
Well, no,
if there's
but-
a huge sponsorship deals or anything like that. So I feel like that's not for the money.
Yeah, no, but that's where I was getting. Like,
Yeah, sorry.
they wanted to push the men's tournament through, even with cases going up, even with the NHL shutting down, because it gets that's where the money is. They don't give a shit about the women's teams or the rivalry series or anything like that. Like, it really frustrated me when I saw that news and we were still watching, pregame stuff for the men's tournament. I think it's a duality that is just ingrained in hockey culture that has to change.
No, it's funny that duality doesn't seem to be there when it's the Olympics. Like when
That's fair.
the women play at the Olympics, I'm watching. Like they usually finish before the men. The men
Yep.
are kind of the last thing, the last hurrah. Sure, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But the women play, and Canada often wins, or it's Canada USA at the end. Sure, it's growing in other countries. It's not quite there yet. But I'd say in the Olympics, it gets a significant amount of traction. I feel like if that is there already, why not put the under 18 or under 20 women's tournament on a similar stage at a similar time? Like, is there not money in that?
There has to be, but
Or you
I
put it
think
back to back with the men, so it's like you're just piggybacking. So it's the same time, as opposed to the men go and then the women go, and people watch the men, and it's like, okay, well, we're not going to watch the women. You know what? If you're like that, fuck you. I don't care. Just go live your life. But if you put it at the same time, you can get those dumb people, and then you get your money. Like, I don't see what the problem is.
I think it's the general sense. I mean, the women's hockey lost an entire league this year. let alone losing the chance to go to a new U18 tournament. Like, it's just not seen the same way as men's hockey, and that's what I'm saying needs to change.
So I found the tweet. I found the thing here.
Okay.
So the Ontario Women's Hockey Association said, we would be pleased to step up and host the U18 Women's World Championship to ensure, my phone just went dark, the players are supported. We commit to working with IIHF and Canada Hockey and federations on timing and safety. So it sounds like they said, we don't want it to be canceled. We'll figure it out, but we'll host it. And that is what should be done. Like just today, the World Juniors was canceled, and already we're saying, oh, there's talk of it being postponed to the summer. But the women's ones, they just say, no, cancel it, because they don't care, which I think is crap. It's total crap.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I didn't think about it until right now. Put it at the same time as the men's. People will watch it. Put it, the game
interspersed
before
games,
the men's.
1-1,
Yeah.
1-1.
1-1. Like, I don't personally watch the Slovakia versus Germany game. Sorry, countries. Does that make me a bad person? No. But if you put the Canadian women's team against another team right before the men's team, I'm going to throw it on for a bit. Like, why not?
Yeah, put it on a Sunday back to back.
And it's going to be good hockey. And then that's going to expose me to the women's hockey game. And I'm like, this is good hockey. Maybe I'll throw it on in another spot.
But yeah,
and this is me, Joe Blow, saying it. Like,
making it accessible.
I'm not going to be the only person to do it.
Is the thing. Making the games accessible to watch is the key part. Now, I know it was last year, 2 years ago, that what is now the Premier Hockey Federation, the NWHL at the time, started streaming their games on Twitch. Yep. Millions of people around the world watch on Twitch.
That's so smart.
And their numbers went up like, what was it, 500, 600% in terms of viewership, in terms of that over that season. And the fun thing about putting a game on Twitch, if you've ever been on there and watched someone else, there's comments, there's chats.
Yep.
So everybody's talking about the games, and you're in a live experience of being able to watch these games. So I would love to see some
moderators too. Thank God.
Oh yes. But I would love to see not just women's hockey on there, but that's a great place to bring in these women's tournaments where anyone can access it really easily. But I'd love to see other hockey games have something like that as well.
Double IHF, give us a call. We got lots of great ideas here for how to make you not be dumbasses. Give us a call, 555-2416. That might have been the same couple numbers, I'm not sure.
So we now know what Kyle's PIN code is.
Can you imagine? That would be insane. Okay, let's get off all the COVID stuff. We understand. It's at the forefront. It sucks. There's a lot of different opinions about it. We are cautious individuals, but, let's get out of this. Let's do this together. Get your booster. It's exciting, except for the day after. It sucks.
It does.
Let's talk about 2021 as a whole, not only for this podcast, but for the Leafs, for the NHL, for ourselves, and let's look to 2022. Again, next week, 1 year anniversary for this podcast. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Throw it on when you're in traffic. Throw it on just before Leafs games so you can kind of hear what other people are saying. Throw it on even before a Sens game. Sometimes we have Sens segments, and we sometimes put those up on YouTube as well for some shorter content. Favorites of 2021. Please follow along with us and comment everywhere. Wow, why am I saying comment so much? Craig, comment. Please comment. Okay, all of these questions are about 2021. Least, we're going to do least before most. Let's get the positive last here. Least favorite Leafs moment of 2021. Dan, go ahead first. Craig, then me.
Okay, so this one was tough for me, but I'm going to land on the Spezza hit followed by suspension and then reduction of suspension. I didn't like it because, I really like Jason. I think he's a solid player. I think he is not one to let his emotions get the better of him in the game, and I think that's maybe what happened in that hit. Whether or not it was, fully accidental or if he leaned into it, I don't want to get into that, but, he was definitely, it was a charged game against Winnipeg. it would be hard not to let your emotions seep into that.
See, this one didn't take me very long to think of at all. It was the Travis Dermott spinorama in the playoffs in overtime. Definitely
That's a
my least favorite
moment.
moment of the season of the
That
calendar
is a
year.
moment.
That is right there at the top. It was 13-1 in shots. I'll just leave it there.
That was messed up. Like, I was gonna say the whole first round last year.
I think that
I
is
figured
the
that-
moment.
That is something of a moment. I put losing Zach Hyman to Edmonton.
Oh,
That sucked this year. Like, he's
Didn't even
such a
think
good
of that.
player, and he went on a tear with Edmonton for
Yeah.
a bit. Thank you, fantasy. But it was like, it just hurt the soul a little bit. And I know he wanted to stay. Just the number was too high. Go get your money, buddy. It's all good. Okay, Craig, favorite moment for the Leafs this year?
There's so many bad ones. I think it must have been Matthew scoring 40 goals last year. And to do that in, what was it, 52, 51 games? That's just
Yeah.
incredible. But yeah, that was a big moment to see him win the Rocket Richard.
I'll go next. The start of this year really kind of sucked, and we were really, really worried. And we thought, oh, maybe it was the Amazon documentary, and they were kind of down on themselves. Maybe it was Game 7, and they're still kind of feeling the effects. But wow, what a recovery from them. And that has been my favorite part about this year for the Leafs.
15
that
and
recovery
17.
from a slow start. Oh, so good. So good. Campbell on a tear. The top four just destroying teams. The defense looking decent, except for a couple players, but whatever. Oh, like
Now
that
they're gone
recovery.
anyway.
Sorry.
So yeah, God. So good. And I'm hoping to see more of that. And it looks like playoff habits. So my favorite part.
So for me, it's going to be Marner gets his mojo back. I can't remember exactly how many games we were into the season, but it was a good handful before Marner finally scored. He scored against Detroit. I rewatched the goal just before because it was hilarious. It was the giveaway by Greece, and it shouldn't be a goal. It's not one that, well, it should have been a goal, but it's not one you work hard for your career and then you score that goal. But it got his mojo back. It got him back into the game. It showed him that, okay, we're going to shake off this Amazon stuff, as Kyle said, and got the Leafs kind of going again. So that made me happy.
I have another one. I don't know why I forgot to mention this before, but the new guys coming in that Dubas signed,
yeah.
and most of them actually panning out. Like Nick Ritchie is picking up,
Yeah.
but David Kampf, yes. Andre Kasha, yes. Bunting, the new Hyman, yes. Like, it's feeling good. Liljegren, like, getting up there. Way to go, buddy. We were worried about you. We've got some pop quiz trivia.
Ooh.
This is exciting. Craig, what is Dan's favorite movie?
Dan's favorite movie. Oh, Jesus.
These questions are coming from our little Get to Know Us segment, season 2, episode 2.
Okay. So he's actually said this before.
Oh, yeah.
The Martian. It's The Martian.
Ding, 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 ding.
My first
Way
thought
to
was
go,
How High.
Craig.
Nailed it.
And
Am I that obvious right now? Come on, I toned it down.
That's funny. Very funny. Okay, moving on to favorites of 2021. Least favorite NHL moment. I'll go first with this one. It's got to be the Kyle Beach situation. Like, all of this coming out this year, that the Blackhawks are jerks, and then Kyle Beach actually came forward. That interview was heartbreaking. Something like this could even happen to a hockey player. And yeah, everyone was like, oh, he's a big macho guy. You couldn't take the guy out. Like, this is serious stuff. And what a courageous interview he had. And thank you, Kyle, for Kyle Beach, not me, for bringing this story to light and putting this on our minds. But just a stain on the NHL and how they handled it this year. Dan.
Okay, so my least favorite NHL moment, I'm not going to get really into detail because we've talked about it a little bit in this podcast already, but it's the NHL's handling of COVID, everything surrounding COVID, the suspending of games, the move to the Olympics, the lack of I guess I'll call it transparency in terms of they didn't want to lose revenue and have American teams come up to Canada where there's half capacity. But it's just the whole thing. I'm just disappointed in the NHL. I don't know why I'm disappointed because Bettman's at the helm and I don't expect anything to change under him, but it just, it bummed me out.
Well, I'll go with the gameplay aspect of this. To me, it was the Tom Wilson fight with the New York Rangers. I feel like that was a low point in on-ice antics in the NHL in the last year. But I'm sure there's been others, but that one stuck out into my mind. It was just kind of a low point.
Yep, I agree. Okay, positive one. Favorite NHL moment, so around the league or outside the league or whatever. Dan?
My favorite moment, and this is a stark contrast to how frustrated I am with the NHL, but I'm really enjoying the talk of more women involved in the NHL, both in the front office level, whether it's color commentator like Ottawa had, and shout out to Ottawa for that. But just the overall move to have more inclusivity in the ranks is making me happy, and I think it's long overdue, and I'm glad to see it.
Okay. I know. I'm still bitter. My favorite moment around the NHL was when Tampa won the cup, and I was able to watch hockey. I was able to watch and follow hockey again.
What the fuck?
What? Once
You get a golf
Montreal
clap.
was out,
Because
soon as
Montreal
they were
lost.
out, I was able to come
Oh,
back.
It's not
Okay.
Tampa
and
won,
actually-
Kyle. It's Montreal lost.
I didn't want to say that, but it's when Tampa won. I was able to come.
A team in blue and white won.
Like
the
I said
cup.
at the time,
Okay,
if you
got
just-
it, got
If
Yeah,
you squint
exactly.
hard enough,
it.
or if Craig takes off his glasses.
Pretty same thing.
Same thing. I'm going to piggyback on Dan for this one. Diversity in the NHL, and specifically when I'm watching, and I'm watching like actually on Sportsnet now. Diversity commercials, like there's a lot of them. Like let's make hockey inclusive. The whole PK Subban one, where he's at the microphones and he's like, "This is where we belong." I think that's a sweet commercial, and it's really showing hockey's growth and the NHL's commitment to diversity in hockey. Let's make hockey more inclusive. Come play our game. This is exciting. This can be all of our game. I think these commercials are going in the right direction. So that's pretty cool.
Kyle, maybe after the podcast, we can just have an aside. You can explain to me what these commercials are you speak of.
What are commercials? I skip over those. But you know what time it is. It's time for Pop Quiz Trivia. Dan, your turn.
Oh, God.
What is Craig's favorite non-alcoholic beverage?
I remember my
Ooh.
answer, and it's bad.
I want to go with coffee, but I think it's milk.
Okay, which one is it?
It's milk.
It was
It's milk.
Hey!
Yours was coffee, Dan.
That mine was
Then he
coffee.
said coffee.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yours
oh
was
I'm
yeah,
always
coffee.
shaking.
Dan was like, because I'm an adult. Coffee and scotch.
Yeah. And cigars, Craig. Arr.
My favorite non-alcoholic drink is
Oh.
cigars.
That's right.
Sorry. Okay, we're going back to least favorites. Getting to know us still. Craig, what was your least favorite moment for yourself this year?
It was 2021. It was kind of all bad.
All? What?
I don't think I really had any low moments. There wasn't a lot of
Okay.
huge high moments, but I wouldn't say there's any low moments. It's pandemic. It's kind of just autopilot.
Okay. So
Personally, I guess
your low points were the fact that it wasn't that exciting.
exactly. Cottage wasn't available.
Or couldn't be.
Didn't go on vacation. Pandemic land, man.
It couldn't be exciting. Got it. Okay, pandemic stuff. Mine, and it's because I'm a teacher. I feel for my students. We had online teaching to finish our school year in June, and I felt so bad for the kids that it was online at the end of the year. They weren't able to have their commencement. They weren't able to kind of share the end of the year with their friends or in their teachers and things and kind of be like, hey, we did it. We graduated. It was just a shame. Like, okay, bye on a screen. So that was kind of lame. And so online teaching, it's not great. Like, it serves a purpose sometimes, sure, but it's up.
I'm going to go with, for me, I think it's falling too much into a weird COVID routine where you don't go outside, you don't see people. I'm not working out as much as I used to. I work from home. Every day is the same. So it's just kind of a bummer. That's, hasn't been, mind you, we've all stayed healthy, and so that's fantastic, and it hasn't been a bad thing. But kind of losing, I'm not teaching myself anything new right now. I'm not striving to be better. So that's something that I'd like to change for sure.
Okay, favorite moments of the year. Well, I think by default, I have to say my wedding this year, because that was an awesome day. Subset of that, Craig and I and a couple other friends, we went golfing the day of my wedding day. One of the hottest freaking days of the year, but we went in the morning before the wedding, and I shot my personal best on that day. And it was so awesome, and it's not the easiest course out there. And unfortunately, but also fortunately, since then, I have shot a new personal best of 80. Like 80. I never thought I'd be able to shoot something like that. So wedding and golf, big highlights from my year. If you've shot 80, let me know in the comments or give us a call, 555-2618.
So, Kyle, what you're trying to say is those PEDs are really working for you.
What the fuck?
So, or is it the HGH? Which one are you using these days?
You're just jealous, Craig?
Yes, my human growth is just outward and not.
Dan, what was your favorite
Hey, round
moment
is
of
a
the year?
shape. Favorite moment of the year. I had a really good poutine in like June. No, for me, it's going to be the birth of my daughter, Rose, in September. That was wonderful to round out our family. And, that was a great moment.
Geez, you guys have taken my whole list. Well, almost. I had 3. First was the birth of my nephew, Anders, back in January, followed by the birth of my niece, Rose, in September. Right? Time flies by weird.
I don't
September,
know. I'll
right?
ask Megan.
Yeah, ask your wife. And then finally, I was going to say, Kyle, your wedding. Being able to be there for your wedding. That was my 3 high points of this year.
Yeah, that's very sweet, Craig. It was fun. It was glad to have you there. It was exciting.
You guys can't see it, but tears are coming down Kyle's eyes.
Fuck. I also just had 2 laugh attacks. But you guessed it. It is another pop quiz trivia time. This one is for both of you because it's about me. What was Kyle's favorite subject in high school other than music and math? Just put your answers down first. Okay, give it a second. And then I will ask you individually. And Craig, go. It's your time, Craig. Now's the time.
Shit, what else did you even like in high school? Other than, after
okay.
school band practice? Does that count?
It's not a subject, but that was fun.
I'm going to go with calculus. No, that's math. I'm going to go with physics. Does that count as math? It's math.
Yeah, it counts as a different subject.
Okay.
Dan?
I'm going to go with lunch.
No, you're thinking of me.
You guys suck.
Okay.
It was American history.
I was going to say history.
Right.
But...
Of course.
Oh, unless you would have got half points for
Yeah,
that.
I guess so.
That was a great course. That was so much fun. Okay, last couple questions for 2021. If there are any, least favorite podcast moment this year, Dan?
Oh my God. It was hosting the episode a couple episodes ago. I just don't enjoy it. It's just not something I am good at or enjoy doing. I can't do more than 2 things at once, and I usually have a scotch or 2 in my hands. So using a mouse with 2 scotches doesn't work, and I found it difficult.
What, do you have 2 glasses of the same scotch? Different scotches?
No, different single malts, of course.
Okay.
But when they hit his stomach, they're a blend.
Oh, I see.
That's right.
Gotcha.
So I am a fine blend.
Craig.
Honestly, it's a bit of a little small complaining. It's just editing interviews on here. interviews take forever to edit, just cutting them in and out. That was definitely my least favorite part of the podcast so far this year.
Oh, because they're on the phone. Oh, and you have to do
Yeah,
the
there's
phone call and take us out and stuff. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna one up you there, Craig. Editing in general, and it's my own fault because I have to. It has to be perfect. Like I have to get rid of things. Like when you hear a bunch of music in it, those are the ones I edit because I'm like, oh, I gotta put this here. I gotta put this here. It takes me like 4 times as long as it takes Craig, but it's got to be right. So it's totally my own fault. So worst part of 2021, myself. No,
Kyle, don't let perfect get in the way of good.
that's a good one. You know what? I don't mind that one.
No.
Okay, last pop quiz trivia. Before we started the podcast, I asked Ding 1 and Ding 2 to write
Ding.
down the first thing they would do if they were given $1 million, and they both said, well, I put it into stocks and to buy a house. And I'm like, okay, they're not the boring one, the one we should all do. The first thing you would probably buy that is not a house, not stocks, with $1 million. So I asked them to write it down. Now I want everyone, including myself, to guess what the other people put down. So we'll give ourselves a couple seconds here.
Oh, I like that.
I'm going to write it down because I'll forget.
So do we have to guess what our listeners are going to spend it with? I'm happy to guess. I'm going to guess that you would buy us new equipment so we sound better. I think you would pay for us to get some broadcasting some broadcasting training so we sound better. I can only assume that this is what you all want, everyone that's listening. If anyone wants, you can get our Venmo, and we're more than happy to take Christmas gifts.
We have a Venmo?
We
What
can.
is that? I don't even know what that is.
Sorry,
No, Cameo is.
Can we just
It's like a
use
tip jar.
We'll just use Kyle's OnlyFans.
What the
You send us money
Yeah,
that way.
actually-
people about that?
We'll put the
What's
link
the
up
other
for that
number?
at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Bring it home.
I'll go first. These are my guesses, and you guys could tell me later. Craig would buy a brewery, and Dan would buy a lot of scotch, like really expensive scotch or something. So don't tell me if I'm right yet, because you guys are going to guess. But that's what I said. Craig, what did you say? Write down if somebody was right.
Dan would
Or you
redo
weren't
his.
thinking about this.
Dan would remodel his house and add a story to it.
Okay.
I don't know, man. $1 million price of lumber.
Might not get you there. And Kyle, I would guess buy a golf course, but it has to be a really small golf course. But I would say you buy one of those hovercraft golf carts to drive you around, or like one of the Bentley ones, just a personalized monograph golf cart that the horn
I'm
sounds like
changing my answer
Blink-182.
I am changing my answer to that.
You're welcome.
Dan, what did you guess?
So Kyle would launch his semi-autobiographical musical called Brush Me Baby. And then
No, they've already made hair.
yeah, exactly.
hair, long beautiful hair.
And then Craig would indeed buy a brewery or create one from the ground up.
Oh my God. Okay. So my answer was a Neil Peart kit because I play the drums.
We're pretty close here then.
But I absolutely love your answers better for me. Okay. Craig, what did you say?
I was going to say Paul McCartney's bass, so we're definitely on the same page on this
We're
one.
the same page. Dan?
So mine would be take my whole family on a giant family trip to go buy a distillery in Scotland.
Okay, I got pretty close.
The Ron
That's pretty
Swanson
close.
special. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
the
pretty
Lagavulin
close.
route.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay, so Kyle's the only one that gets a point.
How did I put the trivia in the wrong spot? That's so funny. Because we forgot about our favorite podcast moments of 2021. Now, we have mentioned this before, but if you've forgotten, that's okay. Or you could say the same thing. Okay, who did I miss? C. Craig, you're up first.
Oh, geez. I think my favorite moment is every week. Just sitting down with you guys for an hour and be able to talk about hockey.
Oh, that's sweet, Craig.
Jesus Christ, you're making me cry again. Third time. Laughter and sweetness. Okay, I'll go next. Mine was when we got to meet the fans. That was a good time at the Sens
Also
game,
true.
doing some interviews. Really enjoyed that, and thank you to people that allowed us to interview you. And like, they were so much fun. The Sens fans, they were hilarious. Like they're just having fun. So thank you for that, and the followers, the new followers. Thank you.
So mine was the trivia that we did kind of midway through the season that Kyle hosted there. Mainly because I did better than I thought I would, and I think I beat Craig. And for NHL trivia, that's pretty great for me.
Trivia is always fun. We do that here. Awesome. Okay, looking forward to 2022. We've got some goals for the Leafs, the NHL, ourselves, and the podcast again. Looking ahead for the Leafs, I'll go first. Obvious. I want a first-round win. Like, come on. I know it's probably going to be the hardest test yet. Boston was a hard test. You could have beat them twice. Columbus, come on. Montreal, come on. But this year, it's probably going to be a team from Florida, like Florida or Tampa. And goddamn, that's going to be hard. So, but still, that's what I want. Damn.
So mine's similar to yours. Kind of stretches a little bit further back into the season, but it's consistency and playoff habits. I'm a little bit worried. We're coming into a game with Ottawa to potentially start our season back after this little postponement here. And, we started our season with Ottawa, and I was worried about it, and we lost. And I'm a little bit worried that if the Leafs start off on a bad game with Ottawa, that it kind of cascades into the rest of their games for a little bit. So I want to see consistency coming out of our win against Edmonton and prior to that, and some, obviously, playoff wins going forward.
What I want to see is a top 4 right D. I think that's the biggest need on this team right now. And I think to get the playoff habits and to get that round 1 win, I think we need to upgrade that defense pairings.
Cool. Very specific.
It's a good one, yeah.
Dan, what are your goals or what are your hopes, I guess, for the NHL this year?
I mean, like if we're going to put them in tiers, tier 1 would be Bettman being gone.
That's mine.
That's not going to happen. So I'm going to say we've talked about it, but I'd like more inclusivity of everybody represented in the NHL.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Dan. I'm thinking the same things.
Okay. And mine, a little more selfishly, was a World Cup of hockey.
We just
I
want
want to watch more hockey.
We want world
I think
peace.
that'd
You
be
just want
super cool.
candy.
You're not wrong. Craig, goals for yourself or things you want to do this year, whatever.
Oh boy, I guess my only goal at this point is to not get COVID. The way that the world's looking, but that and maybe get a new apartment and a new recording facility, new recording area where I can actually, not record on my bed.
All right.
For anyone that
All
doesn't know this, my computer is sitting on my bed in my bedroom, and that's where I record.
Nice. I just want to eat healthier. Last year or this past year, I did a really good job working out. I put that into my schedule. Now I think it's time to eat a little healthier and add more variety. I'm not going to cut beer. It's not happening. It's too good. Like you go to any nutritionist or any workout. Okay, so how many beers do you drink? Doesn't matter.
It's not
Okay,
important.
but
Move on.
If you want to lose weight or if you want to get healthy, you should really cut that down. Yep. Nope. Moving on. What are other ways? Move on.
I will work out 3 times as long so I can drink the beer.
Like seriously. But just eat more variety, a little more healthy. That's me. Dan?
Yeah, I'm similar. I mean, be healthier, work out more, be a good father to my kids. Just kind of the normal stuff. And as Greg said, stay healthy. So if all those things can come together for 2022, I will be happy.
Goals for the podcast. I'll go first, and we kind of already mentioned it at the very top. I just want to be a better host. I want to be a better speaker because sometimes I ramble, and sometimes I sound like an idiot, and sometimes I say and sometimes I don't say and it's just for an extended period of time, and I'm like, Jesus, man. Especially when I'm editing.
That was
I'm like,
beautiful,
holy
Kyle.
Fuck, man.
You don't notice it when I edit, do you?
No.
You just
I'm
don't
just like,
realize.
oh, those are gone. But like in the moment, I'm like, okay, you're being an idiot. So that's what I want. And I'm reaching for the stars with this one. I want a really cool hockey guest that isn't and this is not against these people, like our friends or family. Like, it's cool that our friends come onto our podcast, and that's fun, and we love having you. But it'd be really cool to have like a hockey player, like former or current, or
Did
like
the Leafs have any
a reporter or something. That'd be cool.
prospects on the 67s?
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would
They
be
talk to us for 15 minutes. Why not?
That'd be a Leafs fan in a hostile land.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
I'm
a
gonna look
goal.
that up.
That's fun. That's fun. Dan.
Mine's really simple. Just keep having fun. This is pretty much my social of the week every week, and I really enjoy it because I don't leave the house. So, if we can keep having some people listen that enjoy listening to our ramblings, that's great. I love you guys all and appreciate you listening. So if we can keep having fun with this, that's what I'd like to do.
I agree. I like both of those. Yeah. Just attack on again.
Greg didn't think about this one. He's like,
Ditto.
Those were great answers. I'll take those.
Yes. Give me your
What
goals.
is the soup du jour? It's the soup of the day. Oh,
That
that
sounds
sounds
good.
great. I'll have that. Okay. That was a fun podcast. We started off talking about real life, and we ended talking about fun stuff. And thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow on your favorite social media. Give us a 5 stars on your favorite podcast app if you enjoyed your time.
And all you Spotify people, you can now rate on Spotify. So please go on and give us a 5-star rating. Or, you know what? If you don't think we deserve a 5-star rating, send us a message. leafsfans@hostilelands@gmail.com. Let us know how we can improve. Because we want to get that 5-star rating. So let us know. We want to be interactive with our guests. Or, DM us. There's lots of ways to get a hold of us.
Very exciting. Very exciting. I think we do have some Leafs games this week.
Woo!
So, finish it off. Go, Leafs, go.
Go, Leafs, go!
Go, Leafs, go!